Alright, so the other product we're looking at is actually the one on the left. We'll move this one to the side for now. This is Uberleben's new stove. And they call that the Stoker flat pack stove. And it's made of 304 anti-corrosive 304 grade stainless steel. Super easy to put together. Obviously it's a fueled by organic materials, twigs, pine needles, etc. So I love these type of stoves. So it comes in this nice little carry pouch there. Really a lot more higher quality than some of the other ones I've seen. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And so it's a very similar design to a stove I reviewed on the channel before, made by Uberleben. And it's a little bit bigger. We'll just kind of bring it in the picture here. See, the Uberleben's a little smaller. I mean, the Uberleben does have a few different models. But it's a very, very similar design. It's actually constructed almost identically, except for a few things which we're going to point out. So you can see it has the same crossbars as the Uberleben has. It's got very similar design here. The way it puts together, you know, the Uberleben has this. I don't know if you can see this. Has seen quite a bit of use. Has that flat panel in there for your base, and then it has the hooks, how it connects. It's very exactly the same. What the Uberleben does is it gives you a bigger base. It has venting holes for more oxygen to come in, which is good. And it has the same kind of crossbar, so you can use it for smaller pots if you don't have something smaller on there. The one big glaring difference for me is this big opening hole. So you have a much larger hole to feed your fuel into versus the Uberleben, which is quite a bit smaller. So that's one of the big differences. So let's go ahead and get that baby cracking. Got a little bit of that battle box kindling they give you in there, and I'm actually got a little bit of the jute twine that Uberleben sent me. I'm actually going to use their massive fire starter, their massive ferro rod, to start this. Usually I wouldn't do this with a stove, but goes. Okay, so the idea with these is you just get a little twig and sticks. And I've got a bunch of little stuff here. Now that I got the fire started, gotta give it some fuel to burn. And I've just got some, honestly, sticks around here, but these little things work great. These are Coleman fire starters or whatever, but I can have, as you can see, we got some going pretty good here. And see, I like this big opening hole because you can really get your sticks in there easier than the Uberleben stove. You can see we got a pretty decent sized little camp pot there, and that we're going to just boil some water, make some oatmeal or something with. So, but that's how the stoves work. You can see how the flames kind of come up around it. So you do got to be a little careful with the fire and not letting it get too big. Which I don't think I've got too big, but pretty close. Works well, and it'll boil that water pretty quick. I mean, it's not going to be as quick as like a, you know, a fuel stove that you can turn up the intensity of the flame and such, but it does the job well, and you don't have to worry about fuel source. You can just bring the stove itself, pack it down really light. Yeah, great product. Right, so let's get a side-by-side comparison here. This is the Uberleben flat pack, and I just showed you, well, I may do this separately from, I'm doing the same video, but just kind of show you how to put it together. Super easy. So you have this little flat panel here. You can see it's been used. You got 3 plates, and some of the plates are going to have this little indentation there at the bottom, and you want to make sure that that one goes there, that one goes there, and as you're doing it, oh, see, that's the wrong side. One of these is not going to have, and luckily they labeled it, which is nice, so it makes it even faster. It's not going to have a insert, and that's going to be this one there. So these other ones, though, are all going to go together a certain way, and you can figure that out by just looking at how these connect. So these two will go together, and then we're going to start this process as well. So this is super easy. Just make sure they click in good. Get that one in. And now let's do this one. Like I said, these go together exactly like the Emberlit stoves do. And a few other stoves on the market. I think Top Snipes even makes one. There's a ton of them out there now. The tricky thing is just making sure that these all went. Did the wrong one. Even after I told myself not to do that. Kind of funny. Doing stuff on camera is, I could do this in like 2 seconds if I wasn't on camera. It's kind of funny how that works. Okay, so there's the inside. Clips like that. Goes in there. And then you attach this part. Which this part can get a little tricky because the one side goes like that and the other side's opposite. So you kind of have to just manipulate it a little bit. Play around with it. Oh, I almost got it. There we go. Boom. So, all together, and then the crossbars. There we go, now we're better. Crossbars go like this. I don't know that there's one particular way that they work. If you don't have to use these, if you don't want to, these are for smaller pots and such, but boom. You're done. I just realized I should have been zoomed out. Well, I was. It's just the angle. Anyway, very simple and easy to put together. So, Takedown is pretty simple as well. Let's see how much this one weighs. 14.7 ounces. I'm going to take it down and then I'm going to put it in the pack and show you how much it weighs there, because I think that's the weight you want to look at. So to take it apart, you just kind of have to finagle it a little bit and it comes apart. These tend to get stuck a little bit, but if they do, you just kind of bend them like that. Bam, you're done. All goes in here. So let's put it back in the case, and then we're going to weigh it and see how it compares to that Emberlit stove weight-wise. This is stainless steel. They do. I know some companies make titanium ones that would be even lighter if you're really counting ounces, like you're doing backpacking and stuff. But with in the bag, so the, the whole carry package you're going to use is 14.2 ounces. Let me take something out of this one. Get something extra in that one. The Emberlit stove, which is smaller, weighs 12.6. So it's a smaller stove. I'm not surprised that it weighs less. Plus, I think this cloth. This is a nicer carrying case. I'm getting soot all over it, which is just going to happen. I got soot all over my hand still. But it's a little bit lighter, the Emberlit stove is, but it is smaller, and I do like that I'll cover here in a minute, the Uberleben has a much bigger hole, and it has some different features. So let's go ahead and roll in the footage of using this, and stay tuned. Guys, that's going to wrap up the review on the Uberleben Stoker flat pack bushcraft stove. These go for 38 bucks, great value. Like I said, I like some of the features better than the Emberlit that I've had and used before. And it's just a little bit easier to get fuel in there, and I feel like the fire gets a little hotter because of those oxygen holes they use. And so it's a very similar design, but they did make some good improvements on that. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll link in the description where you can purchase this from them. But it's definitely a great addition to your bug out bag, your camping stuff. If you go backpacking, a stove like this is great because it saves so much weight, not having to carry fuel. And yeah, there's lots of good uses for it. Good for emergency situations as well. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.